The evening was calm, but inside Rayan's heart, a storm was building. He sat beside his mother Sophia in the hospital room, where the soft hum of machines and the faint smell of antiseptic created a strange comfort. The room felt small, yet heavy, as if it held every memory of their lives together. Sophia looked fragile, her body thin and pale, but her eyes still carried a quiet strength that had guided Rayan through his childhood. He held her hand gently, noticing how light it felt in his grip. "Rayan," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "you are younger than your father ever was when I met him." The words came slowly, like she had practiced them 1,000 times in her mind. Yet even she seemed unsure of how to continue. Rayan looked at her, confused. He had grown up with stories of his father, Kareem, a man whose love had been kind, but whose life had been unpredictable. His father had made mistakes, left before certain promises could be fulfilled. And now, Rayan realized, his mother was speaking of him, not in anger, but in reflection. Sophia's eyes glistened with unshed tears, but she smiled, the kind of gentle, bittersweet smile that mothers wear when they are afraid to let their children see how much they hurt. "Your father loved me, Rayan," she said, "but life did not allow him to be the man I needed in every moment. And I have lived all these years with pieces of my heart untouched, with dreams unfulfilled, with memories that ache and linger." Her voice broke for a moment, and Rayan squeezed her hand tighter, wishing he could take all her pain away with a simple word or gesture. She paused, taking a slow, deliberate breath, as if gathering the courage to say what she had been holding inside for decades. "I have one final wish, my son," she whispered. "I need your help to live the life I never got to live. I need to find peace before it's too late." Her words landed on him like a quiet storm. Rayan felt a lump in his throat. This was not a simple request. It was not a favor he could complete in an afternoon. It was a journey, one that would demand courage, patience, and the willingness to confront the past, to face emotions long buried, and to understand a woman he had always loved but perhaps never truly known. Rayan nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "Anything, Mum," he said. "I'll do whatever you need." He did not yet know what that meant, that the determination in his voice surprised even him. He had always thought of himself as her protector, the one who stood firm in the face of storms, the one who fixed problems before they became tragedies. But this felt different. This was not about fixing something broken. This was about helping someone find what they had been missing for a lifetime. Sophia closed her eyes for a moment, and when she opened them again, they shone with a clarity that made Rayan catch his breath. "I want to visit the places that shaped me, Rayan. I want to see the life I left behind. The friends I never kept close. The moments I let slip away. I want to understand myself fully before I go, and I want you to be there with me. You are my son, yes, but also my witness. I need someone who loves me, who understands me, and who will walk with me without judgment." Her words carried a weight that Rayan felt pressing on his chest. He took a deep breath, feeling the responsibility settle on his shoulders. "Mom, we'll do it," he promised. "We'll go anywhere, see anything, and I'll stay by your side." He wanted to reassure her, to make her smile, but he also felt the sharp edge of fear. What if the past brought heartbreak instead of peace? What if revisiting old memories reopened wounds too deep to heal? Yet, looking at her, he knew he could not turn away. This was her last request, her final chance to embrace the life she had longed for. Sophia reached out and touched his cheek softly, her fingers trembling slightly. You are younger than your father, Ryan, she said again, almost as if repeating the words would give them meaning. But in some ways, that is exactly why I need you. You have time, energy, and strength that he never had at my side. You can help me live fully in these last moments. You can help me find happiness that he could not provide. And in doing so, you will see the woman I have always been, not just the mother I became. Ryan's heart ached with a mixture of love, sorrow, and determination. He had always admired his mother's strength, but now he saw her vulnerability, the quiet bravery. It took to ask for help, to expose her deepest regrets and desires to the person who loved her most. He realized that this journey would change both of them, that it would teach him about life, about love, about forgiveness, and about the fragile beauty of human hearts. "Mum," he said softly, "I'll help you find what you've been missing. I promise. We'll uncover every memory, revisit every place, and maybe even find some happiness along the way. We'll do it together." His words were filled with hope, even as uncertainty loomed. He knew the path ahead would not be easy. There would be moments of sadness, moments of longing, and perhaps even moments where they both questioned why they were searching for something that seemed just out of reach. But Ryan also knew that some wishes were worth the struggle, and this, his mother's final wish, was one of them. Safia smiled, a small, genuine smile that made Ryan's eyes sting. She leaned back slightly, her frail body resting against the pillow, and let herself relax for the first time in years. "Thank you, Ryan," she whispered. "You don't know how much this means to me. Just having you here, ready to walk this path with me. It makes everything lighter." The room fell silent for a moment, the only sound being the soft beeping of the heart monitor and the distant footsteps in the hospital corridor. Ryan held her hand, feeling the warmth of her skin, the gentle pulse of life that remained, and he knew that tomorrow the journey would begin. He didn't know exactly what they would find, or what memories would resurface, but he understood one thing clearly. Helping his mother fulfill her final wish was not just a duty. It was a privilege, a chance to honor her life, her dreams, and her heart. As night fell outside the hospital window, Ryan sat quietly, watching the moonlight spill across the room. Safia's eyes were closed now, and she seemed at peace, if only for a moment. He reflected on her words, on the weight of the past, and on the promise he had made. In the stillness, he felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this journey would not only give her peace, but also teach him the true meaning of love, patience, and understanding. Perhaps by helping his mother, he would also discover new depths of his own heart. And so, as the first stars appeared in the night sky, father and son, past and present, memory and hope, all seemed to intertwine in that quiet hospital room. Ryan knew the days ahead would be challenging, emotional, and transformative, but he was ready. Safia's wish was clear, and her heart was open. And for the first time in years, Ryan felt that they were stepping together into a chapter of life that had been waiting for them. A chapter filled with reflection, connection, and the possibility of fulfillment that neither time nor loss could ever erase. Ryan never imagined that a simple trip to the old neighborhood would feel like stepping into a time machine. The streets were narrower than he remembered, the houses smaller, yet each corner seemed to whisper stories from the past. Safia's eyes sparkled with a mix of nostalgia and nervousness as they walked slowly down the familiar lane. She moved carefully, leaning slightly on Ryan's arm, but there was a grace in her movements that reminded him she had once been young, full of dreams and unspoken hopes. "This used to be my favorite street," she said softly, pointing to a small park where children played. Her voice trembled slightly, and Ryan felt a pang of emotion. He had seen his mother strong, commanding, and full of warmth at home, But this side of her, the woman before life had weighed her down, was something entirely new. I spent hours here, dreaming about the world, thinking about love, thinking about what my life could be. Rayan listened, silently amazed at the depth of her memories. He realized that helping her fulfill her final wish was more than a journey through places. It was a journey through feelings, through a lifetime of choices and regrets. Sophia stopped in front of a small house with faded blue paint. "This was my best friend's house," she said. "We shared every secret here, every laughter, and every heartbreak. I lost touch with her after marriage. Maybe it's time to see her again." Rayan nodded, holding back a question about how she would feel if some doors stayed closed. They knocked gently, and an elderly woman opened the door, her eyes widening as she recognized Sophia. Tears appeared quickly, and soon the two women embraced as if no time had passed. Rayan watched quietly, sensing the layers of history, emotion, and love in that moment. After catching up, Sophia seemed lighter, her laugh softer and her smile warmer. She looked at Rayan with gratitude, her hand brushing against his arm. This is exactly what I needed," she whispered. "To remember, to reconnect, to feel alive again." Rayan realized that even small moments could carry immense weight when they healed a heart. The next day, Sophia asked Rayan to take her to the old cafe she and her friends had visited. It was a place full of memories, of conversations, of quiet longing that had been tucked away for years. They entered, and the familiar aroma of coffee and baked bread filled the air. She sat in the same corner she had chosen decades ago, running her fingers along the worn wooden table. "I used to sit here for hours, writing letters I never sent," she said. Her voice held a wistful tone, as if the past had been waiting for her to return. Rayan watched her closely. He noticed the way she smiled at the memory, the soft glow in her eyes, and he understood something important. This journey was not just about revisiting places. It was about reclaiming feelings, discovering moments she had lost, and finding peace in the life she had chosen to live. He felt a deep respect for her courage, for the honesty in facing the past without fear. As they walked back through the streets, Sophia grew quiet. Rayan sensed her mind wandering to memories unspoken, perhaps of Kareem, perhaps of dreams left incomplete. Finally, she stopped near a small fountain where they used to play as children. Her eyes glistened, reflecting the evening sunlight. "There was someone I loved deeply," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "I never married him, never even told your father about him. Life carried me away, and I let myself be swept by duty and circumstance." Rayan felt a surprising pang of curiosity and tenderness. He had never known this side of his mother. "Who was he, Mom?" he asked gently. She smiled faintly, her eyes misty. "His name was Adil," she said. "He was kind, patient, and brave. I never forgot him." Rayan realized that part of his mother's final wish was to see if she could find closure, to confront the past with honesty, and perhaps to reclaim some of the happiness that had eluded her. "Do you want to see him again?" Rayan asked, carefully choosing his words. She nodded, a mix of fear and hope in her expression. "Yes. I want to see if life can give me a second chance, even in small ways." The next morning they tracked down Adil. Time had changed him. His hair grayed slightly, his posture slower, but his eyes still held the warmth and kindness Sophia remembered. When he saw her, a quiet shock crossed his face, followed by a tender smile. They approached each other slowly, words failing at first, replaced by the language of memory and unspoken understanding. "You've changed," Adil said softly, his voice thick with emotion. Sophia laughed lightly, a a sound Rayan hadn't heard in years, and he felt a strange sense of pride mixed with relief. "So have you," she replied, touching his hand. They spoke for hours, sharing memories, apologies, and small regrets. Rayan observed quietly, noticing the way her shoulders relaxed, how her voice grew lighter, how her laughter became genuine again. That night, back at the hotel, Sophia turned to Rayan, her eyes glistening with tears. "Thank you," she said, softly. "I feel lighter. I've carried so much for so long, secrets, dreams, unspoken words. Today I feel like I can finally breathe." Rayan squeezed her hand, understanding the gravity of the moment, helping her reconnect with Adil, helping her face the life she had once longed for, had given her a peace he had never imagined. In the following days, they visited more places, from Sophia's past, her childhood home, her favorite park, and even the library where she had once spent entire afternoons lost in books. Each location brought laughter, tears, and stories that Rayan had never known. Each memory built a bridge between the woman she had been and the person she was becoming again. She spoke openly about her regrets, her lost chances, and the love she had once felt. Rayan listened, held her hand, and sometimes wiped away a tear. Through it all, Rayan realized that this journey was transforming him as well. He had grown up seeing his mother as a caretaker, a constant, unshakable presence. But now he was seeing her as a woman with desires, passions, and a heart that had been waiting for freedom. He understood that helping her was not just about revisiting places. It was about witnessing her humanity, supporting her choices, and allowing her to reclaim a piece of herself she had lost in the passage of time. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light over the streets, Sophia turned to Rayan with a soft smile. "Life is strange," she said. "I thought I had missed everything, but maybe there's still time to find happiness, even now." Rayan felt a swell of emotion. He knew that helping his mother fulfill her final wish was not about changing the past. It was about honoring it, learning from it, and finding moments of joy before time ran out. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in years, both mother and son felt a sense of hope. They had faced memories, confronted feelings, and taken steps toward healing. Sophia's heart seemed lighter, and Rayan's understanding of her, and of life itself, had deepened immeasurably. The days ahead would bring challenges, emotions, and decisions that tested both of them, but they were ready to face them together. As they prepared for the next part of their journey, Rayan looked at his mother and realized something profound. Helping her find peace and happiness was not only her wish, it was a gift to him as well. Through her courage, he learned about love, forgiveness, and the quiet strength of letting someone embrace their heart fully. And in that realization, he understood that this journey, as difficult as it might be, was also the most meaningful adventure of their lives. The final days of Sophia's journey arrived quietly, yet they carried a weight that pressed on both her and Rayan's hearts. After weeks of revisiting memories, reconnecting with old friends, and finding pieces of herself she thought lost, she now faced the reality of time. Her health was fragile, her steps slower, but her spirit had grown lighter. She no longer carried the silent burdens of regret. Instead, she had embraced the life she had lived and the love she had once known. Rayan watched her closely as they sat together in the hospital garden one afternoon. The sun was gentle, warming the earth and casting soft light over the flowers that swayed in the breeze. Sophia reached for his hand, her fingers trembling slightly, yet the warmth of her touch conveyed a strength that no illness could diminish. "Rayan," she said softly, "you've given me more than you know. You've walked beside me, held me through memories both joyful and painful, and allowed me to face my past without fear. I can finally say I am at peace. Rayan felt a lump in his throat. Seeing his mother so vulnerable yet so serene was both heartbreaking and inspiring. "Mum," he whispered, "you've shown me what it means to live fully, even when life doesn't turn out as we expected. I've learned so much from you." A few days later, Sophia requested to meet Adil one last time. Their reunion had been gentle, filled with laughter and soft confessions of what had been lost and what had been cherished. Seeing them together, Rayan understood the importance of closure. Love was not about possession, but about understanding, respect, and the courage to face what could have been without bitterness. Al arrived at the hospital quietly, carrying a bouquet of wildflowers. His eyes met Sophia's, and in that glance, decades of memory, longing, and tenderness passed between them. They spoke softly, exchanging words they had never said in their youth. Rayan watched silently, recognizing the quiet miracle that had unfolded before him. His mother, finally free to be herself, finally able to express emotions she had buried for years. "Thank you for being here," Sophia said to Adil, her voice steady and gentle. "You remind me of who I was, who I could have been, and now I can leave with peace in my heart." Adil held her hand lightly, a silent understanding passing between them. There were no grand declarations, no promises for the future, only a mutual respect and acceptance of what life had allowed. That evening, back in her room, Sophia turned to Rayan with a smile that shone with quiet triumph. "You've helped me more than anyone else ever could," she said. "You've listened, you've cared, and most importantly, you've let me live my truth without judgment. You are younger than your father, yes, but in this moment, your heart has been stronger than anyone I've ever known." Rayan felt a rush of emotion he could not contain. He had always seen his father as the figure who shaped the family. But, in truth, he realized now that strength was not measured by age or experience, but by compassion, patience, and courage. Holding his mother's hand, he whispered, "Mum, it was never about age. It was about love, and you've taught me what it really means." As the days went on, Sophia's condition grew weaker, but her smile never faltered. She found joy in small things: the warmth of the sun on her face, the quiet laughter of nurses, the stories shared by Rayan as he recalled memories from their travels. She spoke often of the past, but with a calm acceptance, and Rayan listened, knowing that every word, every memory, was a gift she was leaving for him to treasure. One night, as the hospital grew silent, Sophia turned to Rayan. "Promise me, Rayan," she whispered, her voice soft and trembling, "that you will carry this understanding forward, that you will live fully, forgive freely, and love deeply. I want my final wish to extend beyond me, into your life, and the lives of those you touch." Rayan nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I promise, Mom. I will honor you, and I will carry your lessons in my heart forever." In her final moments, Sophia's eyes shone with peace. She looked at Rayan one last time and whispered, "Thank you for helping me fulfill my final wish. You've given me the courage to leave without regret, and for that I am grateful beyond words." When she passed, it was calm, almost serene. Rayan sat beside her, holding her hand, remembering the journey that had brought them here. He thought of the streets they had walked, the friends they had revisited, the laughter they had shared, and the moments of quiet reflection. He realized that helping his mother was not just about fulfilling a wish. It was about understanding her fully, honoring her life, and embracing the love that had always existed, sometimes unspoken, sometimes hidden, but always there. After the funeral, Rayan met with Adil one last time. They spoke quietly, exchanging memories, smiles, and the unspoken acknowledgement of what had been. There was sadness, yes, but also gratitude. Adil had given Safia a piece of closure, a chance to reconnect with the woman she had been before life had changed her path. And Rayan had given her courage, patience, and the love of a son who understood the depth of her heart. Walking back home, Rayan reflected on everything he had learned. Life was unpredictable, sometimes cruel, but it also offered moments of extraordinary beauty. Safia's final wish had not been about material things or grand gestures. It had been about understanding, connection, and the courage to face the heart honestly. Through her, Rayan had learned that helping someone find peace could be one of the greatest acts of love in the world. In the weeks that followed, Rayan often found himself revisiting the lessons his mother had taught him. He walked through the same streets they had traveled, remembering her laughter and her words. He remembered the quiet moments, the small gestures, the courage it took to embrace a life fully, even when time is short. Safia's journey had ended, but the love and lessons she left behind lived on in Rayan's heart. He understood now that some love stories are not about romance alone. They are about patience, understanding, and the quiet bravery of helping someone live fully, even in their final days. They are about listening, supporting, and honoring the hearts of those we love. Safia had found her peace not in changing the past, but in embracing it, and in allowing Rayan to be a witness and a companion on her last journey. The experience transformed him. He realized that youth is not measured by age, but by heart. He had been younger than his father, yes, but he had been capable of compassion, courage, and love in ways that mattered most. He had helped his mother fulfill her final wish, and in doing so,